I have seen some trends circulating on social media making claims about mental health, whether it's someone claiming a certain type of fruit, help with their depression, or a tendency for us to scroll endlessly and maybe what's known as bed rotting. We've all been there before. So joining us today is Catherine Nenemery, a licensed professional counselor with ThriveWorks to talk about how social media can impact our mental health. Nan, welcome and thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
We always like having you on our show, and this is such a big topic for a lot of families out there especially. But you know, there are so many trends emerging on YouTube, TikTok, the social media platform of your choice about how to improve your mental health. Are there any particular ones that are most concerning to you out there?
Absolutely. Sure, you know, bed rotting could have its downsides, but I tend to be more concerned about when what do they call it? Skinny talk, right? Or so we're promoting these diet trends that go too far, almost glorifying that. But we also see it sometimes with like self-abuse or self-injury, right? Where the grief or the pain can be warped into seen like as it's normal or glorified.
So how do you advise someone to protect themselves from something like that? Because that information can get fed to you maybe even in inadvertent ways.
I think that is when it's important to, and I think the teenagers are doing it, to advise their friends to go talk to the school counselor or to talk to a mental health professional to pull off of the social media for what's making them feel better, and then returning to real world activities and real socialization.
That real interaction with people.
Absolutely.
Okay, so another common thing we see with social media is people taking maybe an unhealthy attachment to it. What do you suggest about how to best recognize that within yourself? Because I think we all can deal with that at times, and maybe what's the way to get around that?
I think for us adults, sometimes it's nice that we can have those trackers that'll be like, oh, you spent this many hours.
And it is sometimes shocking, yeah.
And being aware of that. But sometimes it's even the emotional swells we'll get, and you'll see it with adults, but definitely with teenagers, where let's say you remove access to the phone and there is a meltdown, right? Or if we as adults can't find our phone, that we have a panic attack. That's a sign that there's an unhealthy attachment going on.
Okay, so I will remember that the next time that happens to me for sure. I want to talk about a statistic really quickly. So according to the Pew Research Center, they had tracked people and they had told them that 48% of teenagers say social media has a harmful effect on people their age, while only 14% see a mostly negative impact for themselves personally. How are you seeing the effects of that emerge with the young people that you might work with?
It's very common, but it's developmentally appropriate, the self-insight of a teenager, right? It's just where their brain is, and that's not their fault, but that's what we as adults are meant to do, is to step in and notice these patterns and notice when there's difficulties and be that boundary or be that barrier as needed.
What do you usually advise people to do in that case?
To have an educational discussion with their child, right? So these phones are designed to draw us to them. That's the whole point, right? And so recognize that that's going on. And then to pivot into, what did they say? Instead of just removing it, fill your child's life with other things so that they don't even have time for the phone, right?
Right.
Fill them with, we're going to go out and do this fun activity, or we're going to invite these friends over, or let's get, 3 people over and make s'mores tonight. And you bring them in. You have too much to do to be on that phone.
That's a really great idea. Okay, hopefully people will remember that too. Right now we are seeing a big rise in chatbots powered by artificial intelligence, and there has been reporting about people turning to that maybe as a therapy substitute. What do you think about that? Are you seeing that pop up in your own practice?
Maybe not as common, but it definitely does happen. And I want to, empathize. Like, there's a desire for connection, and that's so real, and that's so human, and totally appropriate. But could we pivot, right, and use the chatbots, or use the AI to give us some scripts of how could I start a conversation with a new friend, right? Or how could I have that tough discussion with my parent instead of venting and fully kind of creating a relationship. Remember that chatbots and large language models cannot think for themselves. We're called artificial intelligence. They are not intelligent. They just kind of say what you want to hear, and that can lead down some really dangerous paths if you've
And
seen.
collecting upon data and information that's already out there, not generating it themselves.
Right, and they don't have the context. Like a therapist can have a full context, and therapists will challenge. You know, you'll come to us. We're not yes men and yes women, right? We'll call you out. A chatbot can't do that. AI can't do that.
Well, Nan Emery, we appreciate you always coming in to talk about these different topics. Hopefully this will give some people to walk away with some information for them. But thanks again for being with us.
Thank you again so much for having me.